first things first, this video is sponsored by UG, the new headphones that I bought right now. It's pretty dope. Just kidding, guys. Not in the stage to get sponsors yet, but if you do want to sponsor me, my link is in the description below, and you guys can send money for anything if you want. But yeah, jokes apart, the reason I bought these is because this is actually fun to use. I mean, it's in the middle of wired and wireless, but I guess wired still has a bit over preference over wireless because, you know, the sound quality for some reason to me sounds better. I don't know why. Probably because I cannot afford the higher wireless ones, for example AirPods and Galaxy Buds, for some reason. But anyways, coming to this video, today we're gonna be talking about Hong Kong interviews. So I've given interviews in two different universities of Hong Kong, the one being the common one, the University of Hong Kong, which is currently ranked really high in the list, and then comes the Hong Kong Polytechnical University. So I applied to both of these universities early, and I guess I applied general engineering in Hkpu because they did not have any specific courses to select in the first year, and in Hkpu, which is the Hong Kong Polytechnical University, I applied in two different majors. The first one being computer science. They did not have a computer science course, it was named computing, which is technically the same thing, which I'm gonna let you know very soon. And then comes the biomedical engineering. So I was looking for a course which was actually similar to computer science or computing, let's say computational biology or something related to computer science, but I couldn't find one. So I dropped down to my second favorite major, which honestly currently is not, because I don't like biology for some reason. And yeah, so I applied to two majors there and a single major there. Total I had to sit for 3 Hong Kong interviews. It was divided as, for example, one interview for Hong Kong University, which I gave really recently, probably day after yesterday, day before yesterday, and 2 Hkpu interviews for 2 different courses. Yes, they take different interviews for different departments. So to break it down, honestly, I did not expect whatever was coming. It's because I was always told that HKU interviews or Hkpu interviews aren't that difficult, but for some reason I ended up being asked academic questions. For that reason, I guess I couldn't show my proper performance because I'm more of a speaker and I tend to share a lot of things when it comes to just a mutual conversation, for example the US interviews. But yeah, that was a downside. However, I'm gonna be showing you or telling you the important things that I discovered and the things that I learned from this experience. This is not a scripted video, so I might stammer because nothing is pointed out and nothing is noted down, but I'm gonna try my best. So let's get on to it. So the first important thing that you guys need to know is they do ask a lot of math questions. So in my Hkpu interviews, in my biomedical interview, I literally had no academic questions asked. It was more of like, I could see your, there were 2 people who were asking me the interview, and they were like, I could see your CV, I could see everything. So one of my main point was I did a lot of social work. So the person wanted to know my social work, like what were the social works I was involved in, the ECAs that I did related to computers and related to biology or biomedical engineering and things like that. And those were really easy to answer, and you guys can really shine on that sector because that's more of a talking rather than more of a, you know, the game of knowledge or something like that. But in my Hkpu interview, the first question was really simple, and that is give a brief introduction about yourself. That's typically the more typical way of starting an interview. They give you 1 or 2 minutes to talk about yourself, and in those part I would recommend you to talk about simply your name, your institution, and the subject and why are you interested in it. So that's gonna give a more strong aspect to your interview. So in my case, I was like, good afternoon sir, my name is Deepu Prottoy. I read in Chittagong Grammar School, grade 12, and I'm really interested in your course of computer science, as I believe that it has all the aspects covered that I need for my future internships and for my future endeavor as a software engineer. So it was something like that, and they tend to like it a lot because every time I told this introduction, either one of the interviewers smiled. So yeah, that's a pretty weird thing to observe, but I did. And yeah, that's basically it. So coming to the Hkpu interview of computing, there were two people, and one of them was from an Indian descent. He was a professor, and he asked me a math question, which is how do you differentiate sine x, which is really easy, and that is cos x. But maybe the people who did not do calculus in their high school might face a problem, but I don't think for Hong Kong or anyone applying, you will surely know that the derivative of d by dx of, like the answer of d by dx of sine x is cos x. I myself am a bit weak in maths when it comes to talking about maths, but when I do maths, I'm pretty good at it, so you know this up. And the next question was for the Hkpu interview. They went like, Dipro, do you know programming? I was like, yes sir. And he further asked me about the programming languages I knew, so I told him, and he was like, alright, so what is the difference between a variable and a constant? So honestly speaking, the Hkpu interview was really easy. Like if you guys are into a major, they're gonna be really simple, and they're gonna start from the base, like what is a programming language, what's the difference between a variable and a constant. We do not normally need to research on that if we are like studying that for a long period of time. For me, I've been studying computer science for 4 years, and those were really basic questions. However, the interview that shook me, the interview that I wasn't prepared at all, was the University of Hong Kong's interview. So first thing foremost, the thing that I did not realize was they took academic questions really seriously. So I was asked 3 academic questions. The first one was, how do you do this following differentiation? And this woman gave me a typical calculus question. I wasn't familiar with this type of question at all. Shastra, if you're watching this, I'm really sorry, but probably I did this type of sums, and the sum is gonna be here somewhere. Alright, so yeah, this was the sum. This was basically a U technique where I had to differentiate the first one and then move on to the second and then to the third. So yeah, that seemed really difficult to me, but I kind of swang the conversation by saying that we do not tend to do this type of sums in our A-levels, so please excuse me. So the next academic question that I was asked by the female herself, so there were 2 people, the female and the male. The male kept on asking me simple questions. How are you? Have you been to Hong Kong before? And things like that. And the girl was constantly interrupting the man by saying, alright, answer this. Alright, answer this. And all of them were academic questions, and she was driving me crazy. And HKU for some reason had a construction going on, so you could continuously hear the hammer hammering through your head instead of the wall. So yeah, that was kind of pissing me off every single time. And the interview was around 20 minutes. So moving on, the second academic question was, what's the difference between a 5G and a 4G? Now we all know what a 4G is. We all have the 4G internet. But when it comes to definition, when it comes to defining what a 4G or 5G is, we will be facing difficulties, because there are some terms you know a lot, but you can't define. So my answer was pretty simple, because I had the idea of 5G, so I went about saying about the phone telecommunication system, blah blah, and he asked me whether 5G is available in our country, and I went on answering in a humorous way, saying that in our country even 3G and 4G don't work properly, so it's gonna take a long time to establish 5G, considering it's only present in 2 or 3 countries at the moment. So that went pretty rough, but after that they kept on asking me about different aspects of life, my extracurriculars, which is really important for some reason. Even in Hong Kong, I had no idea about that. So after that, I kind of added something more, and there's always a session where you get to ask the interviewers about any questions that you have. So I kind of utilized that point really seriously, and when the interviewer finally asked me that, do you have any questions? First of all, I went on about the current situation in Hong Kong, which we all know is really unstable. So I did ask him about that, and he was like, everything's gonna be fine until you come. You know, the typical sponsor or branding answers that you normally get from a client. I mean, you normally get from a client, yeah, giving something to the customer. Never mind. So the next question was about the coronavirus. I told him that as Hong Kong is really close to China, what if I get affected by coronavirus? And he was like, my son, don't worry, it's cool in here. Only one person died and he came from China, so yeah. And I kept on asking about the different scholarship opportunities. I told him about my acceptances in the US, which might be a good thing or might be a bad thing. Good because they might understand the potential that I have for universities like UMich and Georgia Tech to take me in. And I also used it as a bait to try to show them that no, I'm not weak in maths. The only fact that I did that calculus wrong was because I wasn't familiar with this type of things. So that was one. And the next thing, the reason it's bad is because they might think that I am destined for the US universities and I might be blocking a seat in Hong Kong, so let's not give it to that person. So they might take it in different aspects because these are interviewers and their only work is to send the admission officers my interview score. So even if I do pretty good at it, it's not gonna make that much of a difference if my other application aspects are good and vice versa. So yeah, that was the Hkpu and Hkpu interview thing that I had to go through. So basically they used to ask all the academic questions, the non-academic questions, and in general it might be a bit difficult. All of the things are being conducted in Skype, and being someone from a third world country, the internet connection keeps on, going it keeps on fluctuating. So it's really difficult, and the timing that they give is around noon, so you might fall sleepy. So grab a cup of caffeine if you guys really want that. And if you guys have any questions regarding interviews, what people normally ask during the interviews, comment down below. I'm gonna be putting down a list of things that they asked me, and if that helps you, great. If they don't help you, then just comment down below anything. Hong Kong is a really good place where you guys can get scholarships based on your merit only. I have a lot of friends who got 100, 130, 160% scholarships in Hkpu, PU and HKUST. So it is easy. I did not get accepted yet, but some of my friends already got accepted with great scholarships. So HKU or Hkpu, HKUST, CTU is a great option for you guys to do your undergrads or your other majors in. So this was the video. This was a typical video that might help the people who need it. But if you guys have any questions, আমার যদি ইংলিশটা বেশি খারাপ হয়ে থাকে, if you guys need something in Bangla, please comment down below. I'm surely gonna work on that. And many people are asking about my stats videos for the ones that I got into the US universities. Just letting you know, I'm gonna make a stats video really soon, right after my March results are out. So that's gonna help you guys in the next session of applying. But till then, stay funky, stay blessed, and subscribe to DB Don, Dizz Nation.
Dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh, oh. I never seen anybody do the things you do before.